You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once this entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, have you said thank you?
Today. Tense moments played out for the world during a high-stakes meeting in the Oval Office. A meeting to try and secure a peace deal to end the Ukraine war devolved into a shouting match where the president and vice president called Ukraine's leader disrespectful. Thanks for joining us at noon. I'm Christine Pei. It was a remarkable moment in what used to be a steadfast relationship between the U.S. and Ukraine. It started when Vice President J.D. Vance suggested that the only path forward was diplomacy and criticized former President Biden's foreign policy. When Zelenskyy responded that Russia had broken previous agreements, including a ceasefire deal signed in 2019, things unraveled.
Do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
And joining us now to discuss is Kristen Welker, moderator of NBC's Meet the Press. Kristen, this was an extraordinary exchange in the Oval Office this morning. Where does their proposed deal stand now?
Well, that's the big question, I think. Clearly, this shouting match has put it on ice. And just to zoom out for a minute, I've covered the White House since former President Obama's first term. I have never seen anything like this. This is just extraordinary, and it raises real questions about the prospects for a peace agreement and, quite frankly, about the United States alliances. The U.S. was allied with Ukraine. What message does this send to Vladimir Putin? Does it embolden him? Some lawmakers say that's exactly what today did. Let me read you something, reaction from Capitol Hill. Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio, of course, a Trump ally, Republican, saying, finally, we have a president who will speak the truth and stand up against Washington's endless wars. But then this from Democrats, leader Chuck Schumer saying, quote, Trump and Vance are doing Putin's dirty work. Senate Democrats will never stop fighting for freedom and democracy. And Congressman Don Bacon, a Republican, saying this was a bad day for American foreign policy. So where do things go from here? It is hard to see. What I can tell you, Ukrainians devastated by what transpired in the Oval Office. The war now entering its fourth year. They are desperate for it to come to an end, and now there's no end in sight. Christine.
Kristen, surely a lot more reaction to be playing out really for the rest of the day and through the weekend. But looking ahead to next week, President Trump will address a joint session of Congress. Surely this could be brought up as well. What should we look out for next week on that?
Well, I do have some reporting on that. I've been talking to administration officials. They say a draft has now been circulated to top officials at the White House. And they say, look, President Trump is going to talk about what he sees as his biggest accomplishments so far. So expect him to talk about the border. Expect him to talk about those controversial DOGE cuts. Expect him to talk about the big bill that just passed through the House. Of course, it's got a lot of steps to go before it gets over the finish line. I'm also told there'll be surprises. There will be made-for-TV moments. And then notably, I'm told that some people in the audience will be people who the president will argue benefited from the policies of his first term. The stakes could not be higher. His approval rating about where it was when he was first inaugurated, 45%, but 57% of Americans saying that he's overreached, that he's going too far with his policies and beyond his campaign promises. So the stakes incredibly high as President Trump prepares to address a joint session of Congress and the nation on Tuesday. Christine?
Okay, thank you very much, Kristen. We will certainly be watching, and the conversation will continue on NBC's Meet the Press this Sunday.